Alright folks, in this 11 gallery ATV episode, today we are going to continue on and we're going to start tearing down this motor. Alright folks, check this out. Yeah, these are the parts that I just picked up, and these are from a 2020 YFZ450r, but they will fit on my 2006 build here, and they are like brand spanking new. Look at that. They look like they still just came right off of the showroom. Like I just bought them brand new, and everything's assembled. They're greased up, ready to go. These front hubs will bolt right onto there, and we got the rotors and everything. And look at that. You can't even feel the line. That's how minor usage there is here. You can't even feel that line. You can see it, but you can't even feel it. So those things have very, very, very low miles. Low hours, however you want to say it. And look at these rear hubs. Brand spanking new. The splines are perfect. They're going to be a little bit wider even. They're going to like an inch. I think they're like a little bit less than an inch wider each one. So that'll widen up the back end a little bit, and that'll be perfect. And we don't have to do anything to these. They're already beautiful and perfect. Yes, look at those. There's nothing you need to do here, right? Holy cow. And then these headlights too, they're from a 2020. And you know how much these cost if you were to piece these out and buy new ones of everything? Look at that, it even came with the rubber grommets and the bushings in there with the collars and everything. And these babies are super, like brand new also, not even a scratch. There's a little scuff right there on that one, but man, I can deal with that. And plus I just take a little bit of the Cerakote trim coat and that'll go right away. You won't even notice it at all. It'll just disappear. That'll be gone. So that was a great find. All three of these pieces are going to be awesome on this build. And oh yeah, check this out while we're here. Look at that beautiful dog. I built that computer too. Yeah, I put that computer together with liquid cooled down there with the RGB fans and all that good stuff going on, and the glass case where you can see through it. And yeah, we'll get into that someday. Hey, if you want to see any computer builds and all that good stuff, let me know. I'll throw some videos up of some technology. I'm a web developer and stuff by trade mostly. So yeah, and here's the magic right here. Look at that. Woo! 11 gallery ATV. Yes, you want to make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you click that all down there. Click the all. And yeah, then you can get notified whenever 11 gallery ATV pops out the new videos. You'll get notified, and yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's get on to this exhaust and just continue on where we left off and get this exhaust out of here. Let's go. Woo! All right, folks, before we get the exhaust off of here, let's start cracking some of these tubes, some of these fluid lines that I said we were going to crack and let them start dripping and stuff, and we've never done that yet. Actually, I was going to do that before we put them on the lift, but here we are. So anyway, the first one is going to be the coolant, and this one is full, of course, and this one right here is the coolant drain. So what you want to do, keep the lid on. I got the lid still on, and then we'll crack this, and then we'll pop the lid, and that will relieve the pressure, and we'll get it all out of here. All right, so let's get this oil line off of here first before we do the drain, before we drain the coolant, because we can just get this baby started. And we'll just and there we go. Let's see if I can't get that baby to sit back in there. Well, there you go. All right, now we're gonna crack this drain right here. And now once I release the pressure on here, it should just pour on out of there. Boom. All right, now we'll just put this back in here for now. All right, now we got the coolant drained. Let's get this coolant hose away from the exhaust right here so we can get that baby off easier. So let's undo this guy. Since when is a hose so hard, man? What the hell? There we go. That guy was not cooperating. Woo! Wow, that's pretty rough right there. We'll be getting a new one of those. So let's just get that guy right on out of the way so we can have easy access to cracking these the exhaust nuts. There's a couple of 8 mils right here. I think we can get in there. We can get in there with a socket. Or not. This little guy will fit in there. There. Man, this is a mangled piece of pipe right here. We're gonna get a new one of those. All right, now we got all this stuff out of the way. Let's see if we can't crack these guys. Let's start getting this exhaust off of here. Oh, those were not very tight. And I think this is an aftermarket pipe. It doesn't have any, it has a weld right here. And the flange looks a little different. I think this is a Dr. D. It kind of looks like it. We'll just put these babies right back on there. Now we just cruise over here to this little guy right here. All right, now we got 2 muffler hangers right here. Let's get these guys cracked off of there. And now this guy should just come right on out of there. I think I might have to hang this back up for a second. There we go. We'll get that baby out of there. Now, we can get that guy out of there. All right, exhaust is off. All right, folks, next we're gonna get rid of some of these cables. So we're gonna start here. We're gonna undo these 2. That's gonna take this bracket off. Then we're gonna hit this bracket up here, and we're gonna take this clutch cable off over there, and we are gonna just pull these cables right on up through. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, there's those 2. Now let's crack that top one. That's a 10. It's this bolt right here. All right, now in order for us to pull these cables through, we're gonna have to get the clutch cable off of here, and yeah, it's already pretty loose because the clutch is unhooked, obviously. So all it does is There you go, it just comes up through there like so. And then while we're here, let's get rid of some of these. And we're gonna have to unhook the starter. But first things first, let's get rid of this guy right here. And that's a 5mm Allen head. All right, now we're just gonna pull up all these cables. So we got the clutch, we got the emergency brake with our bracket that fell off, and that's cool though. And all of this stuff can just come slide right up through here. At least I think it'll fit. And there we go. All right, folks, now that we're back over here again, let's get rid of these oil lines. And then we can crack the carburetor out of here. We can undo this cover, and we'll take these off. And we'll take the throttle cable off, 12mm. And there should be crush washers on the front and back of all 4 of these. Kind of like a brake line, where you got crush washers on the front and back, like a banjo bolt. I guess these are kind of banjo bolts, aren't they? All right, now we're gonna pull the carburetor. You just wanna loosen up this guy right here, which we already have it loose. Just a hose clamp. And then we'll try to pull this guy. All right, now what you want to do is loosen up this guy. And then it just comes right on out of there. And then you can drive this over here and make sure that you line that up, and this pops right on out of there. And now we can get the carburetor out of there, but we'll go over to the other side to do that because we're gonna have to unhook some stuff. Now we can pull this carburetor out here, but first we're gonna unhook we gotta unhook these little clips right here. They're clipped onto the carburetor. So yeah, what I like to do is they take a little, you just push this in right here, but I just take a pair of needle nose. That way I can grab this thing and the clip at the same time. And this one also. These triple ones are a little harder though. You gotta kind of make sure that you grab the end of it. Okay. And now we should be able just to get that carburetor right on out of there. Just like so. Whoa. And then we spilled stuff. I think that's just water because I washed it yesterday and I had the fuel line unhooked and everything else. And this doesn't matter because we're not gonna put it back together like this, obviously. We're gonna tear this carburetor down and we're gonna rebuild it. And we're gonna rebuild everything on this machine. So yeah, if you wanna make sure you subscribe and make sure you ring that bell, make sure that you get all the notifications from 11 Gallery ATV. So we're gonna be diving deep into this thing. We're gonna be getting everything done. Motor, frame, everything, radiator, A-arms, everything. We're gonna get everything fresh and greased and brand new pieces where we need them, painted, powder coated, everything we need. Yes, sirs and ma'ams. All right, let's move on to busting out some of this other stuff. All right, as long as we're over here, let's just get rid of this coolant line here and get this thing up on the way here. These things are being pretty tricky for me on this one, man. They seem pretty corroded on here. Man, these lines are being little bitches, man. What the hell? Oh, thank you. I don't know why this won't come off, man. Good God. Oh, no wonder why. Look at that. That's a good reason why it's pretty crappy. We're gonna need all brand new fittings on here, of course. I'm thinking we'll probably just get a new radiator too, man. After all this rust, just flat out buy a new radiator and be done with it. Not even screwing around. Look like there's rust in the cap and everything. Look at that. We're not even gonna screw around with it. We're just getting a new radiator and all new fittings. All right, now we can get the gear shifter out of the way, and there's a little bolt right here in the back. It's a 5mm Allen head. So what you can do is come on from the back with an extension. Line it up in there, and then take your impact. There you go. And then what you can do is put the screwdriver in here. Easier said than done here. Or you can just do that. There you go. Now we can get this chain guard out of here, and yeah. And there you go, it's just hung on like that. The metal piece in the back. And now we have one more oil line right here that goes up to the oil tank. And let's crack that and get ourselves a little container underneath there to catch the oil. Because it was in the way anyway. Well, this one's not leaking at all, so I guess we don't need this container. All right, now as long as we're here, let's just get rid of the starter. And we're gonna have to unhook it right here. You wanna slide this back. And then it's a 10mm right here. Which we can't get to right there, of course. Okay. Now we can just get rid of all this crap. Just get on back there and leave me alone. All right, then we got a couple of 8mm down here, which we can't get to, of course, again. So, got one here. And there's one over here. You have to take my word for it, they're there. All right, we'll just leave that in there until we decide to yank the motor, and then we'll, once we get the motor loose, we'll just take that off right there. As long as we're here, let's just get rid of this oil line. Now, in order to get rid of this thing, we're attached to the neutral switch, so we're gonna have to crank this baby out. so we don't lose it. All right, folks, next we're gonna get this sprocket off here. We're almost ready to get this motor up on out of here. Actually, we're gonna start tearing down the top end first because I don't know why, but this motor, for some reason, is locked up. And on the outside, you wouldn't know it. It looks decent. It shifts good. Yeah, it shifts like butter. I don't understand. Everything is good. The oil was good. The coolant was good. But check this out. Look, this sucker doesn't even budge. Doesn't move. I don't understand why. There's no signs of it except for I'm scared to see the inside, but pretty soon we're gonna get on down to tearing this sucker down. But first, let's get this the sprocket off. So the first step we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to crack this little tab here. There it goes. Somebody had that on there, and that's good. Now, this thing takes a 27 millimeter. Let's see if we can't crack that off of there. Oh yeah. And since we took the shifter off, I put a breaker bar into the sprocket down here and then on here so that the wheels wouldn't turn. I could have put the shifter back on, but you know what? A million ways to skin a cat, and the way I figure it is you do it the easiest way with the easiest stuff around you and the less time it takes to do it. Boom. All right. So now let's get the chain out of there, and then we can start breaking this baby down and figuring out why it's locked up. Because I sure want to see the inside of that. Whoo! I'm so ready to see the inside of that. I want to know why and what we have to do in order to get her back. All right, let's get that chain out of there. Ow, fingers. So let's just get the back part off first here while we got it all loose down there. There we go. Now we can crack this baby on out of there. And it goes on this direction. This flat goes out, and then this washer goes on like so, and then bent up the tabs. All right, folks, there we are. We got the chain. We are all unhooked here on the motor, so we are ready to start tearing down this motor. We're gonna do it inside of here because it's easier to crack these bolts and do all that stuff while it's up on the stand and handy and all bolted in still. Much easier to uncrank these bolts. So yeah, we're gonna get this top end off of there and figure out why it's locked up. I don't know why it doesn't budge. Shifts good. Everything was wonderful except for it just it doesn't turn. So we'll have to see what's going on inside of there. And yeah, and then we'll start cranking these motor mounts. We got that one right there. We got one underneath. Then we'll have to get the swing arm cracked. And hopefully we don't have a lot of problems with that. So yeah, we got the swing arm bolt right there. The swing arm nut sitting there. We actually sprayed it down with some MPPL, some multi-purpose penetrant lube, and we got that baby soaking. So yeah, we need to get this top end cracked down, and then we can get this motor out of there and see what we got going on. You want to make sure that you stay tuned for that, and make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you ring the bell down there. Click the all. Get notified whenever 11 Gallery puts out new videos. You'll get it right in your inbox. And yeah, this is just the beginning. As soon as we get all of this tore down, we're gonna rebuild every piece, every bolt, every nut is gonna be shined, everything is gonna be painted or powder coated or whatever needs to be. We're gonna be replacing bearings, bushings, washers, nuts, bolts, screws, everything that there is to replace or shine up is going to be done, and this baby is going to be beautiful. And we're going to send, once we get this baby stripped down, we're going to send it to the powder coater, get the frame powder coated. Oh yeah, I have a beautiful color that's going to blow your mind. For we're going to match everything. We're going to match the swing arm, the subframe, frame, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the arms yet. I might do, I've seen top colors one color and bottom colors another color. I kind of dig them the blue though. I kind of like the blue the way they are. And the white springs, I kind of like that setup on the stock deal right there. I kind of like the way that is, so we'll see what happens whenever we get this baby stripped down and figure out what to do. So let's get this dog tore down and figure out what's happening. First step we're gonna have to do is wait for the airplane to go by. So the first step we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to lower this dog. So we just turn this guy. And there we go. Now we can work on the top end here. Alright, first step, we're going to take the cylinder head cover off, and it's just these two little bolts right here. Alright, then we can give it a few cracks with the rubber mallet. There we go, just to break it loose. And now we can just crank this baby right on up here. Well, this is the first time inside of this motor now when it's locked up, and I don't see anything crazy so far. The cam chain's tight, timing chain's tight. All right, next let's get that cam chain tensioner out of there, and it's going to be 8mm here and an 8mm here. Before we take it all the way out, let's crack this guy right here. And that is a 10mm. Alright, so I wanted to get this thing cracked just so we could take a look at it. So we pop the top here, and we should put a screwdriver in there. There we go, and when you let go of it, it should spring itself, or it should stay like that so you can install it, and then, boom. So it seems to work all right. All right, folks, now, with the cam chain tensioner out of there, it doesn't matter. It is still, hey, it's free. Ooh. That sounds really bad. So let's not screw with it any longer. Now we can figure out what's going on inside of there. Alright, let's move on and start tearing this baby down, but ooh, it's got to be the crank bearings or something. So yeah, let's jump on back to what we're doing. Let's get these cams out of there. Alright, now that we got the cam chain tensioner out and we got some play on here, let's get these 10 bolts cracked loose here and we can get the cams up on out of here. There's one. Woo. All right, here's the cam with the decompression mechanism on it. They look pretty good. That one does. But in this case, if you wanted to save your chain, you'd keep your chain up. But in this case, we're turning the whole motor down, so we don't really care what happens to this guy. Huh, alright, they look alright. Alright, next up, let's get the cylinder head out of here, and it's going to be one bolt here, one bolt here. There's one inside of here, and one inside of here, and then there's two on this other side on the bottom. So we'll get all of those. And the four on the top here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are all 14 millimeters. And you're going to require a skinny socket, because a fat one will not fit inside of here. And we're going to loosen them in 2 or 3 different increments there. We just want to get that one broke. And now we're going to go in a crisscross pattern. Okay, now we'll hit this one down here. And now we'll hit this one up here. All right, now we got them all cracked loose, we can just zip them all on out of there. Now we have 2 over here. One here and one here. 10 millimeter. Now we got this top motor mount right here we need to get out so we can get this off of there, of course. In order to get that motor mount off, we're going to hit this guy right here first. And then we can undo these right up here. But first, let's get this. I think it's a 14. There we go. Just a bolt cruising on through. Now we're going to crack these 2 12s right up here at the top. There's one. And the other one. And now we have 2 more 12s underneath here. So while we got all this sitting here, we're definitely loose, but let's crack these. So we don't have to do that. We got some leverage here, so let's crack them. Crack them! There we go. Now we can put all this stuff back together. So these bolts go through here and sit like that. And then these 2 bolts come across the top. And then this bolt comes through. So there you go, that's how the motor mount works. And now we should be able to crack this head. There we go. And now we're gonna find out some more information, I think. Like the chain guides. Ooh. Whoa. All right, folks, so now we can see what we got going on here. The chain guide looks good. Looks brand spanking new. All right, now, I don't know why this thing would be locked up. I still haven't figured it out. It's got to be the crank bearings. Has to be. So yeah, check it out. So it's loose now. Oh. Wow, it's totally loose now. So what do we think was binding this thing up? It seems to be pretty smooth now. But let's get the rest of this apart and we'll diagnose it here shortly. We'll look at the inside of this and see what's going on. Let's get that piston jug off of there and see what's going on with that. All right, folks, now we can get this jug off here. We're just gonna pop this bolt right here. Before we do that, let's get the starter up on out of there so we can free us up a little tiny bit of space right there. And of course, when we pick this dog up, it's not quite as heavy. So let's get that starter off of there. We already cracked this bolts here. They're just laying in here. So all it does is pop out the back. Boom. That's all there is to that. And then we'll just put these bolts right back in there where they belong. Now let's crack this dog right here and get the cylinder up on out of there. All right, folks, well, there's our cylinder. And it doesn't look too super bad at all. Thank God, because we're going to use this on our 2005 sitting back here. Because we have broken stuff. Well, there's a dowel pin here, O-ring on here. So we need to make sure we keep all of those guys handy. All right, folks, check it out. Our piston does not look bad at all. Little carbon buildup on top, but all in all, let's see what we got here. We got a little side by side. Ooh, we got some up and down too, so, well, I think the crank is bad here. Let's crack the stator cover and find out what's going on inside of there. All right, folks, next we're gonna get this stator cover off, and I just had an epiphany, I guess you could call it that. We probably should have started here, because, somebody's rolling on out. Gotta love my neighborhood, huh? I'm not the only one who drives around. Somebody else is just cruising around on a CRF. Alright, so what I was saying was actually, I probably should have started right here. Because who knows, this engine might have ran. As soon as we got the top end off and the cam chain tensioner out, it seemed to unfree itself. So I'm wondering if we should have started right here and maybe looked inside to see if maybe the cam chain tensioner was just off and the cam chain maybe came off and was in there. But let's look inside of here and see, because we might have broken gears and all kinds of crap in there, you never know. So let's just see what's inside of here. And we're going to start by removing this guy. Same size. Alright, somebody else in my neighborhood likes to cruise around on stuff. I dig it. We're gonna have to go figure out who that is and maybe go ride. Alright, so anyway, we got this off. We got two more in here. Alright, got one here and one here. 8 mils. Oh yeah, did I loosen them up earlier? Possible. We'll just put those back so we don't lose them. And let's see if we can't get this off without taking the bolts out so we can keep the same pattern. We know where they go. Chances are they're probably not going to be, they're not going to like me, but we're going to see. No, this guy doesn't have to come out, I don't think. We're going to have to undo this though. Well, this thing doesn't look reusable, so somebody clip the end. Alright, now let's crack this guy and see what we got. Alright folks, so in order for us to unhook this stator, I'm used to machines that have a clip, like right down here. You can just unclip it. This one, it goes all the way up through here. It goes behind there, behind the motor mount, underneath the oil tank, up through the frame, over the frame, and then there is a little hook right there, and now it goes up behind the radiator and it goes into the clip right about there, I think. So let's undo this stuff right here. And then we can undo this guy. You know what? I'm just going to cut that one. We'll get new ones. That's easier. Plus they're all brittle anyway, so. Okay, so now those stator wires are these two right here, the skinny one and this fatter one. And we'll unhook it right out of this clip right here. And then the bottom one also. So the thicker one has two clips. Has one clip here and one clip here, black and white. So let's undo this one. And this one's different. Oh, it's up there. All right. And now we have the little one. And the little one is a blue wire. Right into there. All right, now folks, our stator, those are the wires we unhooked. So now, this one actually was, this is the neutral switch, neutral sensor, I should say. And then this one is the stator. All right, there we go. We're unhooked. All right, folks. Before we start taking this motor out of here, let's make it easier and lighter because I'm one person and I have to carry it. So let's make it as light as possible. So let's get the flywheel off and let's get these gears out of here. And actually, the way this works is They sit right here, and they sit on some roller bearings, 2 sets. So we'll make sure that the indented part goes in and the flat side out, and then these 2 guys stack on top of each other and they go inside of here. So we'll just put it like that and safekeeping. But what I noticed, what we have to do, this one has a weird motor mount, and that is not factory, and it's in the way because we're going to have to take one of these and put on here, but it's in the way because this motor mount sticks out. So let's just get rid of it. And this baby is in 6 mil, but I broke my 6mm, so we got a Torx bit, which is a T40. Let's use that instead. Perfect. I guess it worked all right. I'm not sure if that's factory or not. It didn't. When I looked in the parts diagram, it didn't have it like that. But that's not saying that the parts diagram's wrong. That could have been stock. I don't know. If you do know, let me know down there in the comments. And yeah, and you want to make sure that you subscribe. And make sure that you hit that all down there. Just click the all. And a little bell. So that whenever 11 Gallery ATV puts out the new episode of this Yamaha YFZ450 Build, you will be notified. Yeah, so we're cruising right along, and we're about ready to pop this motor out of here. All we need to do is crack these motor mounts, and we're gonna make it a little lighter, so we're gonna get rid of the flywheel, and yeah, let's move on. But, well, that's gonna do it for today. So you may wanna make sure that you stay tuned for this. This is just the beginning. As soon as we get all of this tore down, we're gonna rebuild every piece. Every bolt, every nut is going to be shined, everything is going to be painted or powder coated or whatever needs to be. We're going to be replacing bearings, bushings, washers, nuts, bolts, screws. Everything that there is to replace or shine up is going to be done, and this baby is going to be beautiful. Until another day, peace out, Girl Scouts. Woo!